Here's the quick rundown of today's top stories. Monday, December 9th. House panel says over 400 recipients of OVP. Department of Education confidential funds have no birth certificates. Over 400 individuals listed as recipients of confidential funds disbursed by the Office of the Vice President and Department of Education have no birth certificates. Manila 3rd District Representative Joel Chua said during the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability hearing earlier. The rather worrisome findings followed an earlier report from PSA that confidential funds recipient Mary Grace Piatos also lacked relevant records. The PSA's December 8th report, signed by National Statistician and Civil Registrar General Claire Dennis Mapa, also revealed that 445 individuals lacked marriage certificates, while 508 had no death certificates. Roman interprets VP Duterte's outbursts, says she's seeking sympathy. Bataan 1st District Representative Geraldine Roman has interpreted Vice President Sara Duterte's recent outbursts, which included her now infamous death threats against President Marcos, as a plea for sympathy and a call for help. At the same time, Roman has described as baseless the vice president's claims that she is also being targeted by assassins herself. Roman said that maybe Duterte is looking for sympathy from her supporters. For me, non-existent. I don't believe there's a real threat to Vice President Sara's life, she said. PBBM inks law to address rice supply shortage. In signing the Republic Act No. 1, 2078, Marcos said it is an urgent response to episodes of rice supply shortage in the country and aims to ensure that farmers gain steady access to resources they need to succeed. He said the law amending Republic Act 11203, or the Rice Tariffication Law, seeks to extend the implementation of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund until 2031 and increase its funding from 10 billion pesos to 30 billion pesos annually. Marcos enacts law creating VAT refund system for non-resident tourists. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos has signed Republic Act No. 12079 into law, establishing a value-added tax refund system for non-resident tourists to encourage more visitors to the country. The law, signed today, allows non-resident tourists to claim VAT refunds on locally purchased goods. The president said aside from encouraging higher spending among tourists to stimulate economic growth, the law is also an opportunity to promote the Philippines' unique craftsmanship of indigenous products in communities near local tourist destinations. Barbers says amendments to 22-year-old illegal drug law should be a priority measure. House Quad Committee Overall Chairman Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Robert Ace Barbers says the proposed amendments to the 22-year-old illegal drugs law ought to be considered a priority measure under the Marcos administration. Barbers had this to say as Quadcom prepared to have its partial committee report or progress report approved in plenary before the Christmas recess on December 18th. Diesel prices drop 50 cents. Gasoline climbs again. Motorists can expect some relief at the pumps this week as diesel prices are set to decrease. Starting Tuesday, December 10th, the price of diesel will drop by 50 cents per liter, and kerosene will see a 75 cents per liter reduction. However, gasoline prices will continue their upward trend for the third consecutive week with a 40 cents per liter increase. Oil companies, including Shell Pilipinas and Petrogas, have announced these price adjustments. Trump calls for immediate ceasefire in Ukraine and says a U.S. withdrawal from NATO is possible. Donald Trump pushed Russian leader Vladimir Putin to act to reach an immediate ceasefire with Ukraine, describing it as part of his active efforts as president-elect to end the war, despite being weeks from taking office. In a television interview that aired Sunday, Trump also said he would be open to reducing military aid to Ukraine and pulling the United States out of NATO. Those are two threats that have alarmed Ukraine, NATO allies, and many in the U.S. national security community. The fall of Bashar Assad after 13 years of war in Syria brings to an end a decades-long dynasty. Syrian President Bashar Assad fled the country on Sunday, bringing to a dramatic close his nearly 14-year struggle to hold on to control as his country fragmented in a brutal civil war that became a proxy battlefield for regional and international powers. The exit of the 59-year-old Assad stood in stark contrast to his first months as Syria's unlikely president in 2000, when many hoped he would be a young reformer after 3 decades of his father's iron grip. Stay updated with the latest news. Visit our website at www.mb.com.ph or follow us on social media. Thanks for tuning in to the Manila Bulletin.